This content is brought to you by Cannabis Clearwater, a one-stop shop compliance company. Cannabis Clearwater is a full-service compliance company assisting the cannabis industry with cultivation and nursery consulting, permits and licensing in all ancillaries, OSHA 30-hour and 10-hour training, ISO 9001 and ISO 17025 certifications, safety inspections, security inspections and build-outs, label review, and regulatory services for 510K submissions. For more information, go to www.cannabis-clearwater.com. That's www.cannabis-clearwater.com. This content is brought to you by Laced Media. Competition is fierce to show up on the first page of Google. If your website is not among the top 10 results in search, you're in big trouble. We specialize in digital marketing that gets results. As a marketing agency, we know your business is unique and want the world to know about you. Getting leverage in the digital world is not an easy task to take on your own. Laced Media is the leading digital marketing specialist that can launch your business by promoting how awesome you are. We take the time to understand your business and your customers to build a strategy that is perfect and capable of delivering remarkable results. Marketing can be stressful when you're not sure what to do, don't have time to do it, or just want someone else to manage it. For more information, go to www.lacemedia.com. That's www.lacedmedia.com. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Hayashi from Cannabis Clearwater. I am so happy to have Lacey Ornelas on. She is a digital marketing analyst and an SEO specialist that specializes in everything, but she loves the cannabis space, and she knows a hell lot about digital marketing and SEOs and how to strategize on this stuff. So anyways, hi Lacey, how are you?
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Doing good. So tell me about this whole thing with SEO, digital marketing. This is your specialty, and you have tons of clients, and you know about the cannabis space. So explain to me why is it important that you have an SEO or a digital marketing analyst or strategist with your cannabis company?
So, cannabis is kind of one of those sticky industries right now because we're kind of in that limbo where it's not federally recognized, but then there's so many states that do have it. So it kind of makes it a little difficult to have digital marketing online because it's super limited and restricted. Google will not allow anything that has marijuana, cannabis that is in their advertising. They won't allow that. Same with Facebook. So you kind of get limited on your abilities to advertise digitally. And with
Mm.
cannabis, it's kind of hard to get your name out there, especially if you're, a startup company or you're trying to make a name for yourself, brand yourself, the brand awareness. So SEO is one of the creme of the crops right now for digital marketing. And with SEO comes with content. So when you have good content, you have a good SEO strategy, you will have a good opportunity to really get yourself out there and present your brand to people.
I think one of the challenge, you're right. One of the challenges is we're in the cannabis space, right? So we really don't know when this thing is going to get taken off the Schedule One and when it becomes federally legal. So right now, we're kind of like in this limbo where I see a lot of cannabis websites, and they're doing their thing, if it's a dispensary or if it's a grow, nursery, cultivation, lab, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But the only way to promote it is kind of word of mouth because they can't put it on Facebook or they can't put it on Google Ads or any kind of ad space on the and anywhere on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's really challenging to do this. So
It is pretty limiting because, you can have a Facebook page, you can have your dispensary Facebook page, that's totally fine. It's the ads is really what they don't allow you to advertise in that sort of stuff. So if there's anything that has weed, marijuana, cannabis, I think hemp is okay. Hemp is fine.
yeah.
But once you get into the CBD and the THC, it is automatically flagged and it is not going to allow you to advertise. That's why search engine optimization, SEO, is the prime way to do it because, in a sense, it's an organic search. It's more of the free searching results that you'll get. So if you're looking for a dispensary in Santa Rosa, dispensary in Los Angeles, your possibility of coming up in organic search results is a lot easier than really trying to trick the system of Google ads or Facebook ads. Because I know a lot of companies have tried to do that. They try to trick the system where they may not say they're a cannabis company, but they'll hint at it. They're pretty smart. They have these very
Mhm.
super, technological algorithms that will pick up certain cues. These AIs are getting smarter and smarter each day.
Mhm.
So they'll pick those things up and they'll just flag you. And that could actually be detrimental to the company because that will put you on a red flag list. That's a whole nother issue in itself because then that will remove your Google business listing.
Mhm.
So if you do have a dispensary, that will just wipe you out there. So there's a lot of things that you have to be cautious about when you're in the cannabis industry. There's a lot of things that you have to be very cautious about.
There's like there's like the compliance side, what we do, as you know, we do
Yeah.
like a lot of auditing and inspection and preparedness and all this stuff, but no one really ever thinks about the compliance side on the internet side. And it's probably like the number one most important thing to do because it's your
Yeah.
business. Everyone, you know, everyone has a website, right? And everyone wants to get recognized, but it's hard to do so. And if you get red flagged, then you're really out of luck. And it's
Yeah.
always good to have a nice, a really good SEO person who knows what they're doing. And there's a lot of them out there, though, right? There's a lot of SEOs out there.
Yeah.
How do you find like the right one? Like, how do you know what? How do you determine, what's a good SEO? What is a bad SEO? What do you think?
I think when you're interviewing an SEO company or an SEO expert, individual or specialist, I think the questions that are good to ask is how do you measure these conversions? How do you measure the return on investments for us?
Hmm.
You know, in when you're searching for an SEO expert, when you have that conversation with them, there's a little bit of learning curve with different types of industries. So, cannabis industry is going to vary from, let's say, a restaurant industry.
Hmm.
So, if
That's a good point.
they specialize in cannabis, they're going to be well rounded on knowing, oh, here is your regulations, here's your limitations. If they don't, if they're not in the cannabis industry, they're not going to be super educated on the limitations of cannabis, whether they're an advocate for cannabis or not. They're going to know their individual realm of industry. So whether it be like hotels, restaurants, or plumber. So there's a little bit of a research that happens with any kind of clients with any of the industries. But those are the good questions to ask is, how do we track our return on investment? What are the things that we can do within our industry as a cannabis, either grower, dispensary, compliance company, delivery, cannabis delivery,
Oh yeah, delivery.
delivers, yeah. So those are going to be some questions that you may want to ask on, what's the limitations? What kind of services do you guys provide? Is it something that's like if your dispensary, do you offer local SEO? Because local SEO is going to be specific to your location versus if you sell something online, it's going to be specific to national. And there's going to be a little bit of a grade there between local and national for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The local side, you get more input, I guess, because it is local. So you know everybody and you know the surroundings and you know the geographical areas. But if you hire somebody from, we're in California, but if you hire an SEO from like New Hampshire, they have no idea what we're all about. They wouldn't know what what this whole area is, right? That makes a
It
big
isn't It's an extra layer of challenge when you're not from the state that your client is at. It just kind of gives
yeah.
you an extra layer of research that you have to do. So, we're here in California, and there is someone over in, let's say, Florida. It is a dry cleaners. You know, for here in California, we have a little bit of money to dispense, and we tend to like the luxury items here in California, at least Northern California. They may not have the money to dispense over there
Good
as
point.
dry cleaning, special stuff. So it takes a little bit of research on figuring out the demographics on each of the locations. So that's one of the things that you may also want to ask your SEO expert is, how do you do your research as far as demographics and what is our different demographics?
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And for people
Yeah.
who, starting out in the cannabis space is, it's so challenging. It's so hard to even survive in this industry right now because of just the regulatory issues as well as
Mhm.
local county issues. Like a lot of people are really confused, and a lot of people I understand are very frustrated with this burden that they have to what to do. Not to mention that it's really expensive to do this startup. And my guess is they are putting all of their efforts and all of their money and all their resources into something that they know. So if you're a grower, you're going to put like 90% of your money in growing because that's what you know. And then the 10% is going to be like whatever else. But they don't
Mhm.
really think about the SEO side, the internet side, the optimization side. They just think here, my guess is, and I could be totally wrong, but my guess is these people they just buy an account on GoDaddy and then they just build it and then they think that's like it, which
Mhm.
it's not it. There's so much more involved than buying a web page and go, okay, we're on.
Yeah, it's kind of like that first step of, making a presence online for yourself is, all right, we're gonna go to GoDaddy and we're gonna get that one page website and we're live online. And that is a great first step. However, that may not bring you what you want.
However,
However, so that is one of the things that a lot of people will start doing just to kind of do it for themselves. So if you are a go-getter and you want to start doing it yourself, one of the biggest things that I always tell people that you should do first is one, get a website. And once you get a website, you can either have someone build it for you or you can do a plug and play. That's totally fine. But one of the bigger things that you want to do after that is get to your Google business listing. The Google business listing is also attached to the Google Maps. Google Maps is realistically, if you do any kind of search on your phone, this is the first thing that pops up in search results if you're looking for something local. So you're going to see that map listing and you're going to see those three top listings that Google thinks that you're trying to find. So if you're trying to find a weed dispensary in Santa Rosa or San Francisco, it is going to populate that map listing for you to the closest dispensary to you. And it's going to think that, is this what you want? So that would be probably the first or second thing that you may want to do when you first open up a dispensary or if you have a physical location, you want to get that Google business listing. So, and it's
and that's
really
free.
easy to do.
That's
It's
free.
completely free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like free.
Yep. And if you don't do it and your information is online, Google will make one for you.
Oh, so okay.
Yep. Google will make one for you. It will eventually discover you and it will
It's
make
gonna
one
know.
for you. Yep.
It's gonna know. So
It's
for
going to know.
people, yeah. So I get it. The first step when you build your website, there's a lot more to it. And if you do the Google business listing, that takes it to like another little level. And then from there, I feel like you're just like you're building. Let me see if this makes sense. You're building like an arsenal of stuff
Mm-hmm.
to make it optimize even more and more and more. But like me, I'm not. I don't do internet very well. I don't do web based, as you know. I don't really do this stuff very well. There comes a point where you're just going to have to shell out money and hire a specialist. It makes
Yeah.
sense, right? You got to budget that out, and I think it my you know my guess is they don't budget that out, and
Yeah.
they should, because if you want your business to be successful, you have to allocate certain money to your internet, to your it's not just like paying your $100 wire your Verizon fee. It's like, oh, it's a lot more. You have to allocate a lot more to that. I don't think they do.
Yeah. And it's one of the things that a lot of companies, especially when they're starting up, they're kind of going through the list and seeing like, okay, what can we sacrifice?
Yeah.
And it tends to be one of those things that they sacrifice just because they feel like it's not within their budget or they don't see the value in these types of things or these types of services. But realistically, these types of services are what's going to make you money. It may not be instantaneous. It may not, give you hundreds, thousands of dollars in like a few months or weeks. It SEO does take time. I want to say it
Mhm.
usually takes companies after optimization of the website and directory listings and things like that about 3 to 4 months, in which they get like a ramp up period. They start getting a little bit more traffic. They get more visibility. It may not always result into conversions. Let's say people buying stuff or people coming to the locations or appointments, but after that ramp up period, you start to make some changes with SEO and you start to see the improvements over time.
Mhm.
It's more of a marathon rather than a sprint. So you got to take it as we're going at a quicker pace and we're seeing growth over month and year over year. So it will make you money, but it will take a little bit of time to get started and
Yeah.
just, believe in the process and it will work.
The ROI is there. It just you have to be patient, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people aren't in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you have seen the successes on the long run, on the tail end, on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's super encouraging. And
Yeah.
you kind of have to deal with it and just roll with it and just kind of tweak it. So I've learned what I've learned from you. I've learned one. Well, I've learned to be patient. That's the big thing. But after seeing it from the beginning to now, I realized that there is the growth in between from where we started to now, and you do kind of see the graph going up, which is kind of cool. It's very
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you just have to sit back and like you said, do the marathon. It's you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I think people when they create all of these social media things, they think, at least I to my understanding, or I'm going to presume here, a lot of the presumption is if they create a Facebook page, they're going to get like a bazillion likes, which is not true at all. It's like nothing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. A lot of people use Facebook or social media as another way to advertise themselves when the biggest rule of thumb with social media is post 80% things that are likable, shareable, funny, this goofy gif or recipes or shared articles, something that someone is actually going to want to see. And then the other 20% is going to be don't forget about our services or don't forget about our products or we're running a special because no one wants to be advertised to, especially on social media. We'll just flip on through that. So
Yeah.
make something that people want to see, make something that people want to share or comment on, or, you know, ask questions on, what's your favorite location to visit, or, what's the best foods that you have had while traveling. Some of these questions it invokes people to answer them. And that creates the communication and the bond between the brand.
What I've noticed is like on our Twitter feed, we've gained a lot of new subscribers on our Twitter feed, and some of it has to do with the hashtagging that we've done, and
Mm-hmm.
we've done like broad-based hashtagging within the cannabis industry. It's like hashtag cannabis, hashtag THC, a lot of that stuff. And what I've noticed is when we talk about a mental health or mental health awareness, and I'll hashtag that, we get a bump because a lot of people they're interested in that side, and they want to learn the science of how CBD affects people who have autism. And so I've noticed that when
Mm-hmm.
we do that, we get these little incremental bumps, which is kind of cool
Mm-hmm.
because here we are trying to promote awareness within the cannabis side, but it's kind of cool to see it kind of happen on the outside of the cannabis world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, I feel like they look for information too on social media, which could be a good thing and it could also be a bad thing,
Yeah,
because information is something that it's interpreted. So,
yeah,
especially on social media.
yeah,
So when you have those bumps, those are great bumps, and sometimes you can think of alternative ways to keep that bump going. But it's good to have those things where you can see, oh, this is a direct influence because of this hashtag, or this is relevant to this. So, thinking
yeah,
outside the box really does help.
yeah, absolutely. um so before we bounce, what's one of you gave really good advice. What is other things that you should tell people who are just getting into the industry, just starting their business? They want to build a website, they want to build a web page. What's one of the things that they should be concerned about, or what would you give advice to on this whole thing?
One of the biggest things that I would suggest when you are getting your feet wet into the digital marketing website thing, create content.
uh,
Content is
yeah.
golden for SEO. So if you're not a writer and you just have abundance of information, put your topics down in like a sense of like, let's talk about, specific cannabis industry topics. Um, you can have someone write for you, or you can write it yourself, but content is really going to push your SEO strategy the most, because Google really is influenced by content and unique content. So the one thing that you should never do is copy content, because if you copy content, Google will know. Google will flag you and Google will not give you credit for that. So writing content, unique content, something that's specific to you and your industry, your product, your company, that's going to be the most fruitful thing that you can do for your business. If you're not able to write content, or you just can't, tons of content writers are out there available. Most SEO places will do content writing, SEO experts. And if they do not, they have access to content writers because they know how important it is.
What's your feeling on AI writing,
Uh, I
like
have
writer and yeah?
I have used AI before, content writing, and I've seen some good ones and I've seen some really bad ones. Um, it, it it's one of those things where it will become inevitable for people to not use that kind of stuff. But Google is catching on quickly because it can actually pinpoint the logistics of AI content writing, which I don't know how.
Hmm.
But it is, I think it's called Chat GPT, is one of the bigger ones right now that's been talking about. It is a interactive conversational AI where if you ask it a question, or if you need it to write you code, it will do exactly what you need it to do, and it will do it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see the new stuff that comes out.
Yeah.
What the future holds for that, we're not really sure. So it would be something definitely I'm looking into to see if it's fruitful for the SEO industry.
I subscribed to Writer just to see what it was like, and so I just put in cannabis and compliance, and it just like within 2 seconds, it just busted out with with this paragraph of cannabis compliance stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like so impressed. But I had to double check to make sure what it knew was the correct, the content
Yeah.
was correct. And so it's like, oh, if this is going to be the way to go, then you have to make sure you are still in the driver's seat and making sure you review the content before you even publish it. So
Yeah. Read everything at least twice.
yeah,
Make sure it's hitting the points that you want it to hit. And, if you do actually use a content AI writer, give them specifics because sometimes they might search the web and pull different information from other places because that's usually what it does.
yeah.
And then just make sure that it's getting the topics that you want it to hit and, read everything.
Right on. You want to give yourself a plug? Let everyone know who you are and where to go and all that stuff before we go.
Well, you can visit my website. It's lacedmedia.com. Um, that is pretty much my only outlet that I have right now that I update because I stay so busy. But lacemedia.com is where you'll find me.
Lacedmedia.com. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lacey. It's been a pleasure.
It's been fun. I'm
Yeah,
glad to give some information and it's a growing industry. It's going to be very fruitful in the end. And once things change it for the federal stuff, it's going to explode. So,
I hope so. Yeah, give it time. Give it time. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
all righty. Bye bye.
Bye.